That's a 1-2 KO. Like, it's good. It's a good film.
So Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island is, I think what's great about it is it's a reintroduction of Scooby-Doo. It was in this weird, like, 1998, like, Scooby-Doo.
Straight to VHS.
Scooby-Doo comes straight to VHS in this, like, hand-drawn animation, like, just smorgasbord. It was all, prior to all this, like, digital stuff.
No expense was spared.
Yeah, it is Scooby-Doo's return to, like, the home.
Mm-hmm. And they even do the little bit of, like, time-moving thing where, where are they now sort of bit. And you feel like a decent amount of time has passed. Like, we're going to say, like, 5 or, like, maybe 5 years, maybe 6 years?
Yeah, at least, like, so they do, like, basically a Scooby-Doo montage. Like, so you get, like, an episode in with all of the episode gags and the classic stuff. And then immediately the first thing they do is they start with Daphne in an interview about her TV show. They immediately give the female character that was completely ignored, like, all of this agency, and she's the main character of this movie.
Absolutely. Like, and then they give an aside to Fred. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's like, no, we're switching everything up now. It's great.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Going on, like, kind of character on this, like, they define all of the characters kind of like... They kind of give it, like, what their past episodes stuff, but they kind of reinvent these characters completely, too.
Oh, absolutely.
It is not just these are the characters from the TV show. It's like, no, we have freshened them all up, given them, like, another layer of depth, and, like,
you were
things...
You were talking about the antagonism.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo is antagonistic to Shaggy, which wasn't really a thing in, like, the original cartoon.
Yeah.
Freddy's this kind of, like, dopey, like, look-around thing.
The amount of times Fred is 100% checked out of this movie is incredible.
He's the complete skeptic, and they give Daphne that, like, no, I really want to find, like, a ghost.
Yeah.
They give all these characters these kind of new, freshened motivations and stuff, and it's great.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we did a little bit of, we got some, we had things to say, but we also needed to translate that into cold, hard facts and numbers. So we crunched it. Okay, we got a system.
Yes,
and
we now have a matrix for judging media.
All media.
We have
no media is safe.
Our system can judge your media for you.
Absolutely. It's a 6-tiered system, and these are topics we normally talk about in other videos, and we're just going to break them all down and see what we ended up with, okay?
Yeah, report card.
Mm-hmm. Now, the premise / justification of this movie, it's great because it's a ridiculous, absurd concept, obviously. Like, 5 teenagers in a van, 5 adults now go to a van.
It's the Scooby-Doo.
It's gonna be a little bit silly, but the fact that it all plays out is it all fits to the kind of story that's being told. I felt it was very digestible. I didn't for one minute be like...
And it's a fresh coat of paint. It is real zombies. So, like, it's the classic Scooby-Doo... Daphne wants to find a real ghost, and they do. And it's a quick, cool... What I think is, like, even more important, though, is the kind of meta premise we have of, like, bringing Scooby-Doo to, like, a new generation and everything. Like, and that's why, personally, I rated the premise really high, because it was just... Again, like, it's that double tier of, like, it's not just, like, an episode of Scooby-Doo, it's also, like, does Scooby-Doo as a motion picture format, like, work?
Right, what does he work?
And it does.
It's
great.
It does. Yeah, it is a further investigation, and it establishes the foundation that it had before. It gets right on top of it, so yeah. Absolutely. The acting and characters, I think one of the greatest parts about this movie is they give just something that honestly never really happens in Scooby-Doo, like, media before this, where you get straight plot from characters. And that was interesting in defining their archetypes. But now that we know that, we get these really nice moments. I mean, just character shots of them, like, eating and chilling,
reacting and stuff. Like you said, all the characters get, like, a fresh coat of, like, depth.
Oh yeah,
which is great. And
detail.
I mean, kind of like talking kind of on character and stuff. Like, they put them in this setting, like, you know, because it's a movie. They have a little bit more time to kind of build the place that they're going to be in. And I mean, like, first of all, they've been going to all these haunted places, and then they get to, I don't know why they chose Louisiana.
I swear that we agreed
there has to have been some kind of payout
state
from like
sanction, like, all right, we'll give you all this money.
But they go into the swamp on this like abandoned island, deep, like deep. in this place. They really build up the creepy atmosphere. I mean, it starts in a castle, ends in a like pagan like magic cave. Like
there are caves in the middle of the swamp.
Yeah,
which,
it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Cellars, stuff like that.
I mean, and on like character and stuff, the voice acting, it's all solid. Like it's all solid.
It's all good.
And then the new character depth is great. I mean, I gave like all of our things, we kind of get like a max score of 50, and then we can give like an extra bonus point. I give this bonus point only because of the uber Cajun like fairy.
Oh, well,
I'm in love. Like, she don't turn on no dime.
I'm trying, son, but she don't turn on no dime.
Like, I can't get over it. I can't get over it. Yeah, it's like on repeat. I can't get over the Cajun and like the Louisiana like
it's
in
just
this movie.
It's just because he's introduced right as a red herring is introduced.
Yes.
And all the red herrings in this movie are great. Like, even they work. It's all good. A lot of good little spice.
And it's that perfect amount of camp too. Like, they know having an over the top like old fashioned Cajun ferry boat driver was like, it's a joke in of itself, but it's also very Scooby too.
Oh, it's great.
And Morgan Moonscar was one of those pirates?
Cool, man, yeah, sure.
The cinema, or the construction, the art, wow.
They do just great stuff.
What's great about this shot, what's great about how this is done and how this is animated is that, one, the anatomy on point the whole time. No real flaws there. They get a little bit of their cartooniness in there. Scooby's got
it's very classic Scooby-Doo, but again, fresh coat of paint.
Backgrounds. Like, oh my god, just some really nicely, professionally done stuff which has great composition. All the shots have great composition.
Yeah.
You get that animation sometimes where you got these transition shots to a nice shot with composition, but they just made some really good environmental decisions here, and they show those scenes a lot. They're very much like, here, look at this door, look at this place, look at this. There's a lot of zoom ins.
They have no problem leaving the camera in place. It's something like a lot of times in animation, like, you know, like, because you get to draw it, like, they really just, like, will go hard and fast on that rule of, like, if there's movement in a shot, like, the end and the beginning needs to be pretty, and since it's drawing, you can make all of the in-between stuff pretty. A lot of this, like, they'll have a character walk across screen, like, it starts on their face, which is a good composition, and then they'll walk past, and you just see their shoulder, and they just let that happen. They're just like, no, it's really fine. We don't need to move it around all over.
But when they want to, they'll do it, and there's this great scene where Shaggy and Scooby are eating fucking peppers. Shaggy and Scooby are eating peppers, and they literally eat too many and get hot, so they have to stick their heads underwater to drink the water, and then we get this underwater perspective of a zombie coming out. And the best part about that is you could have just had the scene of the zombie coming out of the water. You could have just had the perspective, but they chose to have the plot and how it was made interact with its composition. That's how you get some good shots.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as like the art style too, we picked up a couple like kind of like nouveau like anime things in it too. Like they have a flare go across the Mystery Machine like windshield,
as it enters the
it's
dimension.
completely like that would never have been in the original Scooby-Doo cartoon. Same thing with the Beast transformations. Like
the ground cracks via Super Saiyan,
and they have like the like pieces of cloth floating off of them. It's completely like just out of like anime, which we love, of course, of course.
And the story and the plot itself.
Yeah, I mean, I like the plot of like, you know, the ghosts are the victims in this one and stuff, but like it's kind of clunky as when they get to the pagan like.
Yeah, it's a little bit left field, and I get it.
Yeah.
It's a twist. It's intended to be that way. And it certainly flipped me around. But I remember the first time I saw that, I was a little unsure. I remember even being young and being like, I think this is cool, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, I
remember as a kid being like seeing the wax figures and be like, that's kind of out of place.
Yeah,
like, we never hinted at magic voodoo wax. Like, where did that come from?
They kind of stuck it in right when the zombies came out, so you kind of just caught up in that way.
In the music montage.
Yeah. And fundamentally, it is also a Scooby-Doo movie, so it's a little.
And even the transforming cats, like again, like that I bought into a little more because of cats were at least in the whole movie. But yeah, the voodoo thing was a little jarring.
Voodoo dolls.
And that's part of the charm, but I understand it's not gonna be.
They also, I was like, you know, it's a shitty thing, that whole like, well, we lost the camera at the end and we can't prove any of this. But I hated that happened like 60% of the way into the movie they lose the camera. And it's like, okay, like that wasn't like even like a
bit
like
of motivation. Like,
yeah,
was
like,
that going to be important or not? Like,
Yeah.
you can have broken footage. Part of why is Sky Captain: The World of Tomorrow like a bearable film? Because at the end,
I love Sky Captain: The World of Tomorrow, so get the fuck out. But
no, it works great because you get to the end and
But
she's
yeah, she
wanted
doesn't
those
have
shots
the-
the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
time. So, but she does get a couple of. So she has mementos. Like, but that's how you fit it in right.
Yeah.
That's how you make it work. Where it's like, okay, well, you didn't get the right footage, you didn't prove anything, or blah blah blah. But like, she was trying. So, and at the end, they turned that whole thing into a joke. But
Yeah.
it still it's a little better than just dropping the camera in quicksand 60%
yeah,
of the way through the movie.
exactly.
Because then why are we here?
I was just a little bummed.
Like survival, who's against us? Malicious forces? Are we going to define them now in the middle of the movie?
Yeah, yeah.
It's-
I mean, and they throw the whole like the zombies being the victims kind of really to the end, and they were all characterized as kind of pirates.
Yeah.
So like at first you're like, no, like screw them for like being pirates and they get cursed. Like that sucks, and like it's cool that they're the victims, but like both sides. And I like that it's a conflicting kind of thing. It's like, oh, who's the bad guy here?
Yeah.
But they threw in all the extra people who just got murdered, like kind of as collateral.
They gave like this. They gave like the what is it the.
They're like Confederate
They gave
like colonel.
the Confederate colonel his
Thank
like
y'all.
thank y'all. Why didn't Morgan Moonscar get
Exactly,
a vocal
yeah.
cameo?
Thank you.
I would have rather seen that.
And then again, but to be fair, it's still red. I mean, overall,
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I didn't give it.
That's the thing. Like
low
it's
marks.
in that weird kind of like valley of like it's just a 30-minute Scooby Doo story, but like
Yeah.
it's also like an adaptation of that into a movie. So I want to see more. But there needs to be there's give and take.
Right. Okay, let's go for the cheese here. Fun factor. I jumped
So much fun.
up on this because
Yeah.
beyond Colton had the expectation of a couple lines. Like with the she don't turn on a
Yeah,
dime. but-
I had a couple lines that like I could quote before they happened in the movie, and that's great for me. Like
Yeah.
I don't remember lines from movies very often.
Oh, but so I hadn't seen this in a while, so none of it was really catching. I didn't have any, I knew what was gonna happen, but it's just I really liked both the montages. The montages were incredible.
With
Like-
original vocal songs,
Oh yeah,
which is great.
And
like
they
it's
weren't
bad,
even-
but like it's good.
But it was very campy and it worked.
Yeah.
And for the animation, the pacing in those scenes, that was a blast to watch.
Well, they very much knew, like, it's already an animated movie, so they can move the plot along quickly, but they even use 3 montages to even, like, just speed it up even more.
and the pace of a movie like this, pacing is a huge factor in fun.
Yes,
because
it's a direct-to-VHS movie.
yeah.
Pacing, if pacing can be good, it's golden. If it's not,
Yeah.
it's just
Oh
crippling.
god, because there was never a moment in the entire movie where I was bored. I was
Yeah.
never not like ready for the next thing because every single transition scene, it's like, oh well, we need a beat off for a moment, humorous bit with Shaggy and Scooby,
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
and that sort of replenishes you, and then you can jump and then do, and it just they ride a really good vibe of just being
Yeah.
great.
As far as, like, being able to, like, take you to a dramatic moment, I mean, it's Scooby-Doo, so there's not a lot of, like, it's not going to get too serious or anything
but
like
for
that.
a Scooby-Doo movie,
For a Scooby-Doo movie, it
does a
brings
very
the
good
horror kind of in a good way. Like,
Yeah.
the way they did that, like, slow zombie reanimation scene, like, I mean, they're using energies, so, like, a lot of animation, especially now with
shots
digital,
were good.
they'd have done it so quickly, but they
the
really...
beam of light.
But they really just kind of let it sit and flow, and then you have good moment or good shots. The kind of art style really is what makes the drama work.
Yeah, and they the fact that they spent that time for it, and that's the thing with animation. When you got to draw out every panel, you get some careful, like, focused shots, and you can really pump it up. The start's really good for building that baseline horror.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scenes that even like are like, okay, well that was
It's also, I mean, there's
physical.
none of the thing is, like, what
Full
is it?
physical
with
destruction in
Scooby-Doo, like, in the original series, it's from a different time, so it's hard to match that drama, or that kind of horror to now, especially since we're having real zombies. I know, like, the creepy old thing about things was, like, like, at the end of the day, these are, like, horrible criminals, like, dressed up as these monsters chasing these kids around. And, like, I remember as a kid kind of, like, in a couple episodes being like, they could get seriously hurt just because these are bad people.
Yeah, exactly.
And in this, like, they never take it that far, but I think it's because they were trying to keep it really kid-friendly.
How about the start where a goblin tries to throw
He is really, like, physical, true. But I don't feel like, but it's so balanced with the comedy. I don't really ever, you never really get that moment where you're like, that's really scary.
Oh,
but again, it's Scooby-Doo.
Jumping back to character real quick, we almost forgot to talk about the best part where Fred gets caught in this scenario at the very start of the movie where he's holding both Velma and Daphne.
Yes.
And then the goblin comes back to him and he has to raise his hand to block. Who does he drop?
He drops Velma.
He just drops Velma. He drops Velma, turns around.
Velma gets dropped in this movie at least 4 times. At least 4 times.
Yeah, it's great.
My god. So, how's your scorecard looking?
Well, I gave premise a 30, acting and characters a 43, cinema a 40, story and plot a 33, fun 48, and drama 33, giving me a total of 227.
Okay.
Over 301.
I gave premise a 35, which is pretty high. Like, I feel like that's pretty high.
Yeah.
Acting character 51,
Yeah,
all because
you went right in there.
of the Cajun. Cinema R 38, like the hand drawn, like, I mean, just looking back, like, I appreciate it so much more now than I did then.
Yeah.
You know. Story plot 17, just because it's Scooby-Doo. I think it's fair for Scooby-Doo, but it's just gonna be low
for me. If it doesn't, if I don't see any problems, I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
I'm like
fun 41 because it was absolutely fun.
Yeah, it's a blast.
And drama 17 again because it just is Scooby-Doo. Give me a total of 199 out of 301. So that's only a 28-point difference actually, which is pretty marginal.
Pretty good.
Like.
I figured you would have been heavy on the points, seeing how this is your movie.
I gave 51
Yeah, you can't.
I kind of maxed out one category. I feel good. But yeah, absolutely. Check out Scooby-Doo Zombie Island if you haven't seen it. If you have seen it, check it back out again. It's super,
it's
super fun.
It's
again,
great.
what was your fun score?
My fun score was 48.
Yeah, 41 from me. Like
it was so.
That is a high fun score.
The pacing is beautiful. It's an hour and 10 minutes.
Exactly.
And it feels like that was a good. But when the lights turned back on, I was like, that was a good hour.
Yes.
It was well.
Yes.
Cool, man, yeah, share.
All right, guys, like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. We'll be doing more videos. Comment if you have something you want us to review. Check out our other videos. We got ones on character breakdowns, which we're cranking out more of.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure to check out the R-Long video we just did.
I'm excited about that. Yeah, I'd love to draw some more guys, some more sweet side characters.
Absolutely, yeah. So. He's doing live streams on our Twitch channel at Clash KO'd.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be whipping up a lot more art about, the things that we're most passionate about.
Absolutely.
Find the good ones. And Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island, that was a no-brainer. We had to do it.